Today, we really need to talk about doubt, belief in your manifestation, other emotions that you think could affect your manifestation. We really need to go in depth on this topic today, get into some of the nuances, also define what doubt actually means, what belief actually means, so that you can get a lot more logical about your manifestation process, because I feel like a lot of manifestation has become almost like dehumanized, as if what we're doing here is like magic mind tricks, as if we haven't already been manifesting for our entire lives, and now all we're doing is we're simply being conscious about it. So I'm going to explain what I mean by that in more depth in this video. So hang on to your hats because it's going to be a good one. And as always, before we get into all of that, I will introduce myself to any of you who maybe don't know me yet. My name is Genevieve. I'm a manifestation coach, and on this channel, I really do try to break things down for you in a different way, in a more in-depth way, so that things click even deeper. And for those of you watching this video before December 31st, 2023, I am going to be doing a manifestation challenge for the month of January. Every single week on the Monday of each week in January, I'll be sending you an email with extremely specific instructions about what I want you to do that week. And this whole channel, I mean, everything we do here obviously is we want to get you results, but this channel specifically, I have designed it to be very results driven. But what that means is that you have to put in the proper work, although I hate that word because what I'm going to have you do is not really work, but you have to hold yourself accountable throughout this challenge. So this challenge is really for people who are ready to take very specific instruction and apply it every single day so that you actually finally do see changes in your reality. Obviously changes within yourself first and then changes within your reality, so that you finally get a lot of these concepts even deeper. You start to build that trusting relationship with yourself as a manifester, and these things are no longer just concepts that you can parrot because you've heard it all so many times, but actually something that you really experientially know how to do. That's the goal of this channel. So to sign up for that, the link is in the description of this video. Again, if you're watching this before December 31st, because the challenge, the doors to sign up are closing the end of day in United States, December 31st. And then, as I said, the challenge itself will take place in January. So let me know if you have any questions about that. Please let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, if you don't want to do the challenge right now, there's other links to other courses I have available. You can also do one-on-one coaching with me. There's all kinds of things to check out in the links below. So check that out. Okay, let's get into this juicy topic that I've actually been thinking about all day. Like, I was so excited to make this video tonight because I've just been thinking about this a lot. I really want to clear up this misunderstanding about what blocks your manifestation and what doesn't. And in my experience, I have found that you can have some doubt. Sometimes you can have a large amount of doubt and still manifest the results that you were affirming for, the results that you were imagining. Whatever technique, whatever mental diet you are practicing, you can still get results even if you have a little bit of doubt. But here's the thing that I want to say more in depth about that, because I feel like a lot of people don't understand what doubt even is. So we need to define, when I say healthy doubt, what do I mean by that? And what I really mean by that is when you consider the energy of doubt, or the vibration of doubt, if you want to use that term, doubt itself is pretty neutral. Like, it's kind of a neutral, healthy skepticism in some way. It's kind of like a, okay, well, we'll see. It's kind of like a neutral, like, I'm just gonna see what happens kind of an energy. Doubt is not anxiety. Doubt is not extreme emotional dependency, or really any emotional dependency at all. In some ways, doubt is like a healthy detachment. This is why I'm specifically saying that you can have a healthy amount of doubt in your manifestation process and still see totally awesome results. But I'm not saying that you can have anxiety, emotional dependency. And when I say anxiety, I should even define that. When I say anxiety, I mean that fear of not getting your manifestation, of not getting the reality that you prefer. If it causes you in your current moment, like physical emotional distress. That is a sign that you are too emotionally dependent on your manifestation, and therefore you are actually attached to what you fear. So when we say attachment and detachment, when we talk about those concepts, attachment isn't just a positive, oh, I'm attached to that person because I love them so much. Attachment also manifests in the form of fear. What you fear, you are also quite attached to, because you don't fear stuff that you're not taking seriously as your reality. If you're really afraid of something, and let's use the classic example of an SP, maybe they're gonna be with a third party or whatever. Like if you are extremely like bodily affected, like, emotionally, like you have this extreme anxiety, you cannot handle it, you like have physical symptoms of the idea of your SP being with a third party or whatever, that is showing that you actually have an attachment to that reality. You've made that reality mean something about you to the point that it's causing you physical, emotional distress. It shows you have an alignment. There's something within you that feels like that means something about me. My SP being with that third party, that really means something bad about me. So this is what I mean by attachment. And remember what I was saying before, that doubt, in terms of healthy doubt, is more like detachment. It's more of a, yeah, I'm gonna keep affirming for this thing. I'm gonna keep manifesting consciously this thing that I want, but I'm emotionally autonomous enough to not be extremely emotionally gripped by seeing the opposite. I can instead be in kind of this healthy human skepticism in terms of being like, yep, well, this is what I want and we'll just see how it goes, and we'll just see. I hope you're following me, that is a very, very different energy than emotional dependency, extreme anxiety, feeling like you cannot breathe, you cannot live without, your SP coming back to you or whatever it is. Those are different things. I think sometimes people are thinking that their emotional dependency is just doubt, and that the reason that they get really triggered and emotional and totally freaked out when there's a suggestion of a third party or whatever, that's just the example I'm using, but they think that, oh, I'm just freaking out about that because I am doubting too much, or I don't believe in my manifestation enough. No, that's not the correct problem that you're labeling onto there. It is not that you are doubting your manifestation, it is that you are too attached to the circumstances that tell you that you don't have it. You are too overreactive to anything that might suggest to you that you don't have it. Therefore, you are attached to that reality that says you don't have it. I hope you're picking up on the nuance of the differences here. It's not really lack of belief that is a problem in the anxiety stuff that comes up for you, although that's probably a little bit of it, but really it's, again, emotional dependency. You are not emotionally sovereign enough from that particular manifestation. You're not emotionally independent enough. You don't have a self-concept that is self-sustained enough yet to be able to simply keep affirming, keep persisting, keep doing whatever you need to do to manifest that SP. You don't have enough of that emotional sovereignty to just keep doing that without getting so hooked on anything that might imply that you don't have it. I hope that makes sense. And since we just talked a little bit about belief, I even want to define belief now, because remember how I said at the beginning of this video, we have turned manifestation into like some freaky, like magic mind trick that only special people who watch LOA videos do. No, manifestation is something that you have always been naturally doing through your mental diet, your natural mental diet, since the moments that you could consciously think as a youngster. Whatever you were perceiving, it was causing you to be like, okay, now I think this is probably going to happen next. And then something else would happen and you'd go, oh, okay, now I think this is going to happen next. Or you would be weighing in your mind the probability of certain outcomes. So this is how we humans have always naturally used the law of assumption, is through whatever we naturally anticipate as what is going to happen next, what is possible for us, whatever we've naturally anticipated is like, yep, that's an option for me, or oh, that's totally not an option for me. That is what we have been able to manifest. And so I want to remind you that before you consciously learned of law of assumption, there were lots of things that you wanted, but you had just enough perceptions of yourself that thought, that even if something felt a little out of reach, like even if something like, for example, let's say this is pre you knowing of law of assumption days, and you were applying for a job that you really wanted. I'm sure that there was a part of you that had some doubt about you getting that job, but you still, in this example that I'm giving, you still got that job, even though there was still a little bit of that, okay, we'll see, you know, I really want this job. I really feel like it's the right fit for me right now. And you just naturally kept kind of having that trusting. And even though there was still a little part of you that was like, I'm not really sure though, we'll see what happens, you still got the job. So I hope this is making sense with like a real world example. The thing I mean about doubt again, but also belief, and that you do not need to perfectly believe like you're singing from the rooftops, you're just giddy with excitement every day as if you like, I believe in my manifestation so strongly. That's not really normal for humans. Like the way that we manifest our lives is again just through whatever we genuinely naturally perceive as like, yep, that's a thing for me. That's gonna be what happens next. This is just the way it goes. And even if I'm a little bit skeptical of it, my skepticism is actually normal and healthy. Like that's just like part of that is your ego protecting you, because it can feel really scary to go completely all in on your belief on something that is still new to you, you know? So this is why I'm saying that having some doubt is really not that big of a deal. And so the more you're putting pressure on yourself, like you've got to believe more, you've got to believe perfectly, and you've got to, you know, just really go above and beyond and like always believing 24/7, saturating your mind so deeply 24/7, that's probably doing too much. And it's coming from, remember, your anxiety. And anxiety, in my experience of doing this now for years, having hundreds of clients and also through my own personal experience, anxiety in terms of that like loss of emotional autonomy that I mentioned, that anxious attachment is really the true block to a manifestation. And remember, I already explained to you why that is, because when you're anxiously attached, you're actually accidentally more attached to the not having of it than you are to the having of it, because whenever you see signs of not having it, you are completely like consumed by those signs, if it makes sense. And I know I'm using kind of extreme language because for a lot of you, you're at varying levels of anxiety in terms of like some of you are really high anxiety where you really can't handle things. You've got to block your SP on social media because you can't even look at their stuff. You're so triggered. And then some of you have worked through a lot of that, but you still definitely feel that fear of like, oh my God, I might not get it. And that really freaks me out. That's still showing a little bit of that emotional dependency where you feel like your self-concept is not fully sovereign. You're not really owning that you are the God of your reality. There's a part of you that's still giving power away to that anxious attachment that is the opposite of what you want. So from here on out, I want you to really trust yourself that doubt is not really the enemy here. Like your healthy doubt or your healthy skepticism is totally welcome. In fact, you should, in some ways, just to protect your identity, have a little bit of healthy skepticism about the things that you are manifesting in terms of being like, okay, I'm going to go through the process. I'm going to affirm. I'm going to do the things I'm choosing to do as my techniques, and then we'll just see. And there's kind of like a lightness to it where you're just like, yep, I'm just going to do this for me and we'll just see what happens. That's kind of what I mean by like, you know, you're not like, ooh, let's make sure I really believe because I need this so bad and I can't handle it if I don't have it. Instead, you're in that sort of light, healthy skepticism and doubt. And I know for me, and I see it in my clients all the time, that the more I'm in that kind of a detachment where I'm so emotionally sovereign, I'm not really super triggered by the opposite happening. I'm very accepting of the opposite in terms of I accept that it does exist. I accept that it is an option for me, but I'm just like not triggered by it. I can just easily be like, well, I'm just going to keep affirming for this because I would like that. But if it didn't happen, I wouldn't freak out. I don't have that like anxious attachment to the opposite. So when you're in that state, again, and you've probably experienced this, a lot of you, things do tend to come in pretty well, pretty quickly, pretty easily. So it is not your doubt or your healthy skepticism that is a problem. It is the fact that you are so, again, emotionally dependent, where you are allowing your emotional dependency upon that manifestation to make you feel like you're not enough without it. But all of that is implying that it is outside of you, you don't have it, and that you are completely identified with the not having of it. So anyway, but going into all of that in terms of like how to fix that is not the topic of this video. I have other videos that go into how to deal with your emotions on this channel, so I highly suggest if you want to look at those in terms of like helping deal with your own emotions, go look at those videos, but I will probably address more about anxious attachment in the future. I also have a course down below that specifically addresses anxious attachment. I so hope and intend this video just released some of your resistance, because there is such, again, like a misnomer in the manifestation world that it's lack of belief or too much doubt that is the problem when it comes to if you get your manifestation or not. And it's really not a problem at all. Again, it's okay to be a little bit skeptical, because that helps you to build your relationship with this conscious process in terms of like, okay, I'm going to do this and then see some results. But if you're, again, in that state of like, I'm only doing this because I'm so anxious and I'm so afraid of not getting it, and I'm dominantly being fueled, I'm dominantly thinking from, I don't have it, I anxiously need to have it, then that is, to me, the biggest number one blaring reason why people seemingly don't get their manifestations, or at least they struggle with it longer than they should need to. In the January challenge that I'm doing, we will of course be exploring this even more in the specific instructions that I'm going to give those of you who join on like what I want you to do and the things I want you to focus on and the mindset that I want you to have, so that you actually start seeing results and you're not on this like anxiety hamster wheel trying to make things happen and nothing seems to ever happen. So again, I'm really looking forward to those of you who are ready to take my instruction and do this group coaching challenge with me. I'm really excited to start that. So again, the link to sign up for that is down below. I will see you guys in my next video. All right,